Chesterfield County Public Schools' daily expectation is that students are provided a high-quality learning experience in a safe, supportive, and nurturing environment. Central to this is creating learning opportunities that are innovative, engaging, and relevant, and designed to connect our students to real-world experiences. The school division's aggressive new strategic plan, Imagine Tomorrow, focuses on creating a better tomorrow by providing authentic and captivating learning experiences. In this three-part series, we will talk with some of our school board members and leaders about the vision, mission, and goals of the strategic plan. Today, I'm here with Chesterfield County Public Schools School Board member, Mrs. Carrie Coyner of the Bermuda District, and Dr. Thomas Taylor, our Chief Academic Officer, to learn a bit more about Goal 2 of the strategic plan. Thank you so much for joining us, and thanks for coming in.
Thank you for having us.
So this you both played really an integral part in developing the strategic plan. And I'm going to just start with just an overarching question. It's called Imagine Tomorrow. So Ms. Coyner, what does Imagine Tomorrow mean to you?
I think at the base level of Imagine Tomorrow, it's really what we want to see for our young people. And I think the word imagine is so important because we don't know what tomorrow will hold, what the jobs will be that are there for our children when they graduate and leave us. And so really trying to think as big as possible and focusing on outcomes for our students where we've prepared them for anything that could happen to them tomorrow, whatever job path that is, whatever they're interested in inventing or creating or wherever they want to move to, that they're prepared for all of those choices that they're going to have. So I think the word imagine is in that the most important to me because we don't know, and our job is to prepare them to be successful in whatever may come their way.
And Dr. Taylor?
Well, Mrs. Coyner honed in on the imagination and imagine part of our strategic plan, and I'll take a stab at tomorrow. When we thought about our strategic plan, the board really challenged us to think about what tomorrow could look like and what kind of school system we would need to make Chesterfield a better place, to make the Commonwealth a better place, and America a better place. So in a lot of ways, our strategic plan is the fulfillment of our pathway to how we can get to a better tomorrow in our community.
So in saying that, we have this strategic plan, which is taking care of this very large division, only has two goals. So the first goal is really around academics, what that looks like, creating the mindset of an infinite learner. And the second one really goes to the environment in which that happens, our classrooms. And so remarkable classroom experiences. This is something that you have really championed, Ms. Coyner, throughout your tenure on the school board. What does that mean to you when we are looking at the work that's going to be happening under Goal 2?
Well, I look at it just like for adults, the reason why Goal 2 is so important to me. If I have someone come into my workplace and I want them to give their best, they have to believe in me as the boss in that organization, and I have to have a good relationship with them. They have to trust me that I'm looking out for the best for them. They have to see that I'm working just as hard as they are. They have to see that everyone around them cares about them and is supportive. And our children are no different than what you and I as adults want when we go out into the world and are sitting at jobs. Our young people come to school each day, and the core foundation of their ability to learn and be productive is that they have a great relationship with at least one adult, if not many, many more in their building, and that they feel that their classmates are there to support them and help them as well. And so really the foundation is looking at social emotional development. Are we helping young people develop the skills they need to work well together? Are we making it where our teachers have the time to build meaningful relationships with their students? Relationships can't happen if we are not meaningful about it and give teachers the time and space they need to develop those.
So today, in talking specifically about our Goal 2, which is Goal 2, all students, staff, parents, and community members will exemplify a culture of safety, personal responsibility, and supportive relationships. Mrs. Coyner, can you share some objectives from that goal that you really find to be of particular importance and that you're passionate about?
Yes, so a couple of those stand out to me. One is we have young people for the majority of their waking hours while they're with us. And being healthy, both in mind, body, and spirit, is extremely important. So looking at allowing kids to get as much movement they can out of the classroom experience, focusing on ensuring that they have nutritious meals, that we're making sure that breakfast, snacks, and lunch, and often now at our secondary schools, even dinner for our athletes is being taken care of. And also looking at those social emotional well-being, that we've set in place standards that we will continue to develop and implement and move forward on, where we're ensuring that every child is receiving those building blocks. I think something that we've seen, we've had some great social emotional development happening in all of our classrooms in Chesterfield, but with so much movement and families moving more often, oftentimes those building blocks look different from building to building, grade level to grade level. So looking at our strategic plan and having consistency so that all young people, regardless of their zip code or where they move within Chesterfield County, they know the expectations of what their teachers expect, what their classmates expect, and their own self, how they self-regulate and how they take control of their own learning experience. And so consistency, I know as a parent, is extremely important. The more consistent we can all be, the more our children can live into those expectations that we have of them.
Thank you. And Dr. Taylor, could you expand on any of the particular targets around that goal?
Yeah, so goal number 2 is fantastic because there's a tremendous amount of overlap with the first goal. It's also a tremendous place where we get to see our values as an organization shine through, our values of equity, integrity, teamwork. We really see a home for them in goal number 2. And through our infinite learner mindset and our belief that kids are always learning and that they are connected to their environment, this is also a place where we see kids being able to exhibit their citizenship as well. We want our kids and the adults in our school division to all be seen as individuals and to be valued as individuals. So a tremendous amount of our focus is on personalized learning and individual learning and how our kids and adults can grow in our school division and how they can be supported. A lot of this, as Mrs. Coyner alluded to, has to do with how we support the whole child. Not just their academic well-being, but also their social development, their physical safety, how we can see them grow in lots of different ways.
So, and then just to piggyback on that and then what you said earlier, an objective of Goal 2 is to improve the equitable, efficient, effective, and sustainable use of assets. So tell us why this is an important piece of that goal and what you think that it's going to do to how education is received in Chesterfield County.
Well, I think it's something we heard loud and clear as we went and got feedback on our previous strategic plans and our previous work, is that folks really felt like in the past we were checking the box that things were done instead of really taking inventory of what our assets are, great teaching, our amazing students, looking at our classrooms and how we can make best use of those. And then saying, now where can we go from here with the assets that we have? That also includes our buildings, making sure that we have the safest places, and we're ensuring that as we build new buildings, that we're protecting the precious cargo that's inside, and also how we take care of our older buildings and make sure that we're continuing to upgrade and pay attention to those. So when you look at the term assets, we look at it from all different vantage points. Safety is extremely important. We keep that at the forefront of everything that we do each day, ensuring that parents feel confident that they are sending their children to school each morning with us and that we will get them home safely each day. And so that goes to our investment in new buses, looking at how we rotate those out throughout our community, ensuring that our front offices are places that people feel warm and welcome, but also know that we take safety precautions, making sure that they know who's coming in and out of those doors. And so making sure that we have the best teachers in every classroom, I think, is something we heard loud and clear as we went throughout the communities and received feedback. Ensuring that we're providing reasons for teachers to travel in any area of the county and in any school, the best of the best in front of every child in our school division.
Thank you. And so I have a question for you. As Chief Academic Officer, from that vantage, can you speak to why this goal and this strategic plan is so valuable in terms of its contribution to the overall?
I think Mrs. Coyner hit the nail on the head. It's really all about return on investment, and that's a key distinguishing difference between our last strategic plan and this strategic plan. We had a great strategic plan. We finished it early. The board has pushed us to aggressively tackle the things that we had set out to do in Design for Excellence. But imagine tomorrow, it's about impact. And it's about focusing on the activities that are really going to push our kids and move the needle for them so that they're going to optimize as much growth as they possibly can, and that we engage in the activities that we know have a large effect size on student learning and student growth. We have high expectations in Chesterfield County Public Schools. We want our kids to achieve, we want our kids to grow, and we want our kids to be great citizens that contribute to the community when they graduate. We also want them to be always learning after they graduate from us. So it's really important that we create these fantastic learning experiences and we put kids in these really remarkable learning environments so that they can grow, and that we invest in the right type of activities, the right type of learning environments so that we can see that return on investment.
Thanks. This has been really a neat process to be involved with, and it's an exciting time for Chesterfield County. This is the wrap-up question that everyone gets around this. So you both were very involved in the process. If you would both speak to what your favorite part of that process was, just out of curiosity, what did you enjoy the most?
So I have two. I'm going to cheat. I'm going to do two.
Okay.
The first would be, we had an evening where we had teachers from throughout the Bermuda district all come together, and to see them work station by station, being really honest about where our successes are, where we can build on those, where our weaknesses are, and their own ideas of how we can develop our new strategic plan to improve on things. That was great because they were excited and you were able to see how the evening went, similar ideas grouped together, and then forcing everyone who was there to stretch those ideas. So it was a great exercise. And then I'd say the second is probably centered around a lot of our community partners when we went out and met them where they are and asked them for their feedback, seeing what they reflected back on their time spent with our young people through their different organizations, and sharing with us, reinforcing that need for relationships, seeing the struggles that our young people have on a daily basis that we may not know the full extent of, but our community partners recognizing that while we may not be able to do everything, CCPS plays a key part in developing healthy young people, that their well-being is important to our community partners. So it was great to see that they had this knowledge they were willing to give back and share in a very open and honest way.
That's cool. Dr. Taylor?
I really have to echo what Mrs. Coyner is saying, because we interacted with over 7,000 stakeholders in this process. And one of the things that just absolutely struck me is, even though we had a very aggressive timeline and we had a really strong and urgent push because we were finishing one strategic plan early, and there was a strong desire to get a hold of a great direction and great strategic plan moving forward, there was tremendous continuity in what we heard from community members, what we heard from business leaders, what we heard from our own teachers, and even what we heard from our students. They really pushed us in all the same direction. And it's wonderful now that, looking back on the process, how everybody in our community and everybody in our school system can see their voice represented. And I think that that's really important, is that we have a unified voice moving forward, and that there was so much continuity in that voice.
I think it's going to be super impactful. Well, thank you both so much for everything that you do to serve our over 60,000 students and their families and our staff in the community. So, and for what you've done, and for sharing your expertise today on Engage Chesterfield. And thank you for joining us on Engage Chesterfield.